Understand why you struggle with listening. Let's be honest, listening in English can feel overwhelming, especially when native speakers talk fast, mumble, use slang, or speak with unfamiliar accents. You may think your English is not good enough, but the real problem is not your level, it's about training your brain to process real-time spoken English, which is very different from reading or writing. When we listen in our native language, our brain automatically catches the rhythm, predicts words, and understands the structure without effort. But when we switch to English, we try to translate, decode, and understand all at once, often too slowly to keep up. The sounds of English are often reduced or connected, e.g., want to becomes wanna, making it harder to recognize words you've already learned. The key is to stop blaming yourself and realize that listening is a trainable skill. It's not about intelligence or talent. It's about exposure, practice, and the right methods. You don't need more vocabulary, you need better listening habits. Stop relying on subtitles too much.
Subtitle phim lai anh xếp tí nét đến bắt íp yêu gì lon thêm ép gì tâm, yêu dè trên ninh yêu asi mô than yêu easy.
Your brain takes a shortcut. Instead of listening to the audio, it reads the text. You may think you're improving, but you're not building your listening reflexes. To fix this, create a habit of listening first, reading later. Here's a step-by-step method. Choose a short video, 1 to 3 minutes. Watch the video once without subtitles. Try to guess the main idea. Rewatch it with subtitles and check what you missed. Watch it a third time without subtitles again. This sandwich method forces your ears to work harder while still giving you support. Over time, you'll notice you can understand more on the first listen, and you won't panic when subtitles aren't available. Pro tip: use English subtitles if you must, but avoid your native language. You want to connect English sounds with meaning, not translation. Don't try to understand every word. One of the most damaging beliefs learners hold is the idea that they must understand every single word. When they don't, they feel discouraged, anxious, and often quit. But here's the truth: even fluent English speakers don't catch every word, especially in noisy environments or with unfamiliar accents. Instead of focusing on perfection, focus on comprehension through context. Your goal should be to understand the overall message, the emotion, and key words. When someone says, "Hey, sorry I'm running a bit late. Got stuck in traffic. Be there in 10." You don't need to hear every syllable, just catch late, traffic, and 10, and you already understand the situation. When you release the pressure to get it all, your brain relaxes, and ironically, you'll understand more. Train your ears by listening to full sentences, conversations, or stories instead of isolated words. Language is about flow and meaning, not just vocabulary lists. Practice active listening, not passive. Passive listening is when English is playing in the background, like when you're doing chores or scrolling on your phone. It's great for getting used to the sound of English, but it won't dramatically improve your comprehension. Active listening means full focus, full intention, and full engagement. You give your ears a workout. Here's how. Choose a 30-second clip. Listen with full concentration. Write down what you hear. Dictation. Re-listen and correct mistakes. Repeat aloud what the speaker says. This helps memory and pronunciation. Repeat this cycle daily. Yes, it's harder, but it's also way more effective. Within weeks, your ears will become sharper, and you'll start catching words and phrases automatically. Listening is like learning to play piano. You can't improve just by sitting near one. You have to practice on purpose. Make English listening a daily habit. Even 10 minutes helps. You don't need 2 hours a day to improve. What you need is consistency. Listening for just 10 to 15 minutes every day is better than binge-watching English for 5 hours once a week. Think long-term, not quick fixes. Make it part of your lifestyle. Listen to a podcast while brushing your teeth. Watch a short English video while waiting for your coffee. Listen to YouTube or audiobooks while walking or commuting. And don't just choose study material. Pick what excites you. Comedy sketches, documentaries, travel vlogs, lifestyle interviews, or even cooking shows in English. When you love the content, you'll naturally want to listen again and again, and that repetition builds comprehension. The secret isn't time, it's habit. One learner who listens every morning for 10 minutes will always improve faster than someone who studies hard once a week. Use the shadowing technique to train your ear and mouth. Shadowing is one of the most underrated but powerful techniques. It works like this. You listen to a sentence from a native speaker and immediately repeat it aloud, trying to copy the speaker's rhythm, tone, and pronunciation without pausing or thinking too much. It feels weird at first, but it creates magic. You'll train your ear to recognize patterns and intonation. Improve your pronunciation without thinking about rules. Build confidence in speaking. Start with short, clear videos like BBC Learning English or VOA Learning English. Then move on to real-life interviews or podcasts. Shadow 1 to 2 minutes daily. Don't aim for perfection, just flow. Over time, this technique helps you understand native English as it's spoken, not as it's written. Repeat listening. Train your brain with familiar content. One of the biggest mistakes learners make is constantly chasing new content. believing that more input means faster improvement. But in reality, your brain learns best not from variety, but from repetition. Think of how children learn their native language. They don't need hundreds of different TV shows or stories. They listen to the same songs, rhymes, or stories again and again. Why? Because each repetition strengthens their memory and helps them notice new details they missed before. Ray. Now, apply this to your English learning. Choose a short clip just 1 to 3 minutes long, and instead of listening to it once and moving on, listen to it multiple times over a few days. The first time, just try to understand the main message. The second time, focus on how the speaker connects words or reduces sounds. The third time, try to mimic their tone and rhythm. By the fifth or sixth time, you'll be surprised at how much you can understand and even predict. This technique helps your brain become familiar with real English speed and patterns, and it allows you to internalize phrases, pronunciation, and sentence structure naturally. Instead of trying to memorize vocabulary flashcards, your brain starts to absorb the language like a native child does through meaningful, repeated exposure. It's not boring, it's powerful, and it works. Combine listening with speaking, reading, and writing for full impact. While listening is a skill you want to improve, it becomes far more powerful when you connect it with the other language skills. Speaking, reading, and writing. Why? Because using the language in different ways reinforces it in your brain from multiple directions. You move from passive understanding to active use, which helps you remember faster and use it confidently. For example, after listening to a podcast or video, don't just move on. Try this. First, read the transcript while listening to the audio again. This helps you connect sounds to written words. Then, write a summary in your own words. This forces your brain to process what you heard and express it using your vocabulary. Finally, speak aloud your summary or talk about what you learned as if you're explaining it to a friend. Even recording yourself and listening back can give you great feedback. This approach turns a simple listening exercise into a full language workout. You're not just training your ears, you're also improving your grammar, sentence structure, and speaking fluency. And the best part, you're building real communication skills, not just passive understanding. You're becoming a language user, not just a language learner. Learn to love accents, not fear them. Many learners get discouraged when they hear English speakers with different accents: British, American, Australian, Indian, African, and so on. You might think, I'll never understand that, or this is not the accent I studied in school. But the truth is, English is a global language. People all over the world use it with their own local flavor, and no single accent is correct or better. Instead of avoiding unfamiliar accents, embrace them. Start listening to English spoken by people from different countries. You can watch international interviews, TED Talks, YouTube creators from different places, or news channels like the BBC, CNN, Al Jazeera, or ABC Australia. At first, you may feel lost, but gradually, you'll start to hear the patterns. You'll understand how Indian speakers stress different syllables, or how Australians might pronounce vowels differently. And the more you expose yourself to these accents, the more flexible your listening becomes. Think of it like training your ear to understand various musical instruments. The more you listen, the more confident you become. And in the real world, that confidence is essential. Because you never know who you'll be speaking English with, your colleague from Singapore, a client from Canada, or a friend from Nigeria. Train your ears for the world, not just the textbook. Create a personalized listening library. Curate content that excites you. To stay motivated and make consistent progress, it's crucial to build a personal library of English listening content that reflects your interests, goals, and level. Think of it like your favorite music playlist. If you only listen to boring educational clips that don't interest you, you'll lose energy quickly. But if your playlist includes topics you love: travel, fashion, psychology, gaming, fitness, you'll naturally come back to it every day. Start by collecting your favorite English YouTube channels, podcasts, audiobooks, TED Talks, or even Netflix shows. Categorize them by difficulty: beginner, intermediate, advanced, accent: American, British, global. Length: short clips for quick study, longer episodes for weekends. Mood: motivational, funny, relaxing, deep thinking. Now, whenever you have free time, even just 5 minutes, you won't waste time looking for content. You'll just press play. This library approach makes listening practice efficient and enjoyable. It also keeps you in control of your learning. Every time you discover a new video, song, or podcast you enjoy, add it to your library. Over time, you'll have a treasure chest of English content that keeps your brain engaged and your ears sharp, without needing to force yourself to study. Language learning isn't about pressure, it's about building habits that feel natural and sustainable.